Today we're going to be doing a comparison between these two fans. Fan on the right is a Honeywell turbo fan from 2001. The date is August 2001. It's the model HT-70 and the draw is 0.74 amps. This one is Duracraft model DT-740, draws 0.75 amps. There's no date on this one, but I think that this has got to be either from 93 or 94, guessing. Educated guess. I wanted to do this comparison because I thought the Honeywell fan was kind of interesting in that it seems to have more in common with the early 90s Duracraft fans than it does the 2000s era Duracraft fans. The power draw on these is similar. The Honeywell's 0.74 amps, Duracraft is at 0.75, and I noticed when I had two Duracraft fans from the early 2000s era, those were rated at 0.6 amps, and I don't have those fans anymore, but when I compared those fans to this one, I didn't have this one at the time, but when I compared those newer Duracraft fans to this one, it was noticeable that this one ran faster and moved more air. This one being from 2001, I would expect it to be more similar to those 2000s era Duracraft fans, but I think it seems to have more in common with the early 90s ones. The motors seem more similar. This one also runs particularly fast and moves more air than those 2003 or 2004 Duracraft fans. So just to kind of get a feel for the sound of these and how similar they sound, we'll run one on high and then the other one on high, just to get a feel for how they sound. I'll let both of these fans warm up a little bit. Ran them for a little while just to make sure that they were both performing at their best. It actually sounds like this one might be running a little bit faster. Sounds like this one might be running a little bit faster on low, so that's interesting. Go to high. So that's interesting. It seems like the Honeywell fan runs a little faster on high and a little slower on low. Interesting. Okay, we'll take some airflow measurements here just because that'll be interesting to see too. Not really looking to draw any major conclusions or make any judgments here on the fans. That's just strictly out of curiosity. So I'll run this one on high. And feet per minute set there. I'm not going to take a max reading because this tends to jump around quite a bit. All of a sudden you'll see some big numbers come across there. What I'm looking for is consistency. What are we reading consistently? Alright, so it seems like between 11 and 1200 is about the average in there. That seems to be what we're reading consistently, and then you find these little low spots in there where it's between 8 and 900, and then there's a particularly strong area like right up here where we're getting like 14 or 15. I've noticed that that's kind of a thing with most fans that I check. It seems like there's just something about aerodynamics where, or lack thereof maybe, where you can find these little lull spots where it's low, and then there's a broader area where there's more consistency, and then you can find these little pockets where there's more concentrated airflow coming through, little narrow areas in here, or strong inconsistent gusts that come through just as a result of physics, I guess. But we're looking for those broader areas where they're more consistent. That's what I'm going for. So this one seems to be more around 11 to 1200 feet per minute. Look at this one now. I think we're stuck in there. Turn this off, maybe set this. This one's about the same. Right up top here, you get these like 14 or 1500 feet per minute readings in this little sweet spot, like right here. This one seems to be the same, about the same airflow in the same areas. So they seem to be about the same. And it's weird. You get your strongest point right up here, and then it seems like it kind of fades, dulls down, goes down a little bit. You get down into, you go from about 1500 down to about 12 in here, and then at different points wherever you're hitting it, you're going to come up with something different, just because it's not all moving really truly consistently through there. It's just kind of finding the fastest path out. But the same trends here, where we get strong movement here, and then it's still strong here, but then when you get towards the bottom and then along this side is where it seems to be kind of weak, between 8 and 900, 11, 1200 here, and then up to about 15 here. About the same on both fans. And I would expect those 2003 or 2004 Duracraft fans to be average a couple hundred CFM, or feet per minute rather, less than these. At least when I compared those to this one, it was noticeable just by observation that that one ran quite a bit faster and moved more air than those fans did. So anyway, it's interesting that this fan, being from early 2000s, seems to have more in common with the early 90s Duracraft fans than it does the 2000s era Duracraft fans. And performance and the power draw is also kind of a tell, I think. But I don't know what it means, but it's interesting. Thanks for watching.